I'm Sal Henley, I'm in the Slimming World kitchen again. We have a great new book called Taste the Sunshine. It has fantastic summery barbecue picnic recipes in here, and I'm going to show you one today, which is a melon panzanella salad. It starts off like every panzanella salad with the base, which is tomatoes and bread. So I have some sourdough toast here. Now, stale bread is perfect for this, and you can cut it into thick slices, toast it, and then I've just cut it into little triangles. When you're making food, always try and cut it in different ways to keep you excited when you're looking at it, because people really do eat with their eyes. Then the second part that you need in a panzanella salad are the tomatoes. So I've got 800 grams of large tomatoes here, and we're going to peel the skin off it. And what I'm doing is putting a cross in the top of each one. So just a little cross like that, and then you put that into the bowl and you cover it with boiling water. And we're going to just leave it there for about a minute. We'll just test it to see if the skins are peeling off. Okay, so after about a minute, what you can do is just test it. All you need to do, oh look, you see they're peeling off beautifully. So I've got a bowl of iced water here. And the other thing is, when you're choosing tomatoes, try and get the really lovely red ripe ones and not those insipid half orange ones, because they just won't have as much flavour. And if you wanted, you can use heirloom lovely green tomatoes and mix it up as well. So now we're putting it into the iced water. We'll bring that here. And what you want to do is start to peel the skins off. And you just literally do it by hand. And it's pretty easy to do now because the hot water has loosened it off. So it takes seconds to do now. And you take the skins off because actually you just get the real flavour of the tomato coming through and the freshness of summer. And then you repeat. Now all the tomatoes are peeled, what you need to do is take a knife, and you can either cut it into quarters like I'm going to do, and then you can use the knife to get the seeds out. So what you do is put it on the back of the quarter, and you get your knife and you run your knife along. Now the key thing is not to waste these. We're going to get all the lovely juice out of those. So all the little pips, they've got all the lovely flavour that's going to make the dressing. So reserve all of that. So you can either do it like that, or if you wanted to, you can actually use a spoon to scoop them out. So that's the first technique. So all the seeds, do take the time to do this because you really do want that lovely summery flavour from the tomatoes. Or you can do this and cut it what I call cross the equator. So the equator is from here to here is the world, and then you cut it across the equator, you see? High tech. Then you can get a teaspoon, and then you can just scoop that out, which I think personally is a lot easier. You can get the kids involved with that, just cut them in half and then give them the teaspoon. And then do that over the sieve so you catch all the juices, like so. And then you just continue with all the others. So in the sieve there is all the insides of the tomatoes. Then use a spatula or a spoon or even a ladle. And can you see all that juice that's coming out? That is precious, yummy juice. I tell you, a glass of that would be delicious on a summer's day with a bit of ice. But this is going to be our dressing. So just keep going until it sort of stops and nothing else is coming out. It'll take a little while. But that really is the essence of summer right there. Okay, I think we're about there. Can't seem to get much more out of that. Then what I'm going to do is add 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. Like that. And then this is 1 garlic clove that's been chopped very finely or crushed. And then that is going to be the lovely flavouring to the whole salad. Then go back to your tomatoes, and we're just going to cut those into strips. So just put those on the board and cut away. There we go. So then put all that lovely tomato flesh into the bowl. And we're going to add a bit of coolness to that lovely sort of acidity from the tomato with some cucumber. In the recipe it says peel it completely, but just as a sort of variation, what I tend to do is every other kind of strip of the skin off so that it's a bit more pretty when you come to slice it. tell I'm not a rule follower. And then take the end off and then cut down the middle like that. And then we're going to scoop the seeds out using a spoon. We're just taking that out really because there's just a bit too much water in there for us. And then again, think about how you're going to cut it. So I'm going to cut it into triangles to sort of match what I've done with the bread. So I just sort of cut it on the angle and then they look like that. Nice and chunky. Of course, if you wanted to add in more cucumber or more ingredients of the sort of lovely vegetables and the fruit, you can do if you wanted to. Then we've got 400 grams of melon. I've just taken the skin off. Melon, any melon you have would work really well. You could use watermelon, you could use cantaloupe, honeydew. And I've just taken that off the skin and cut it in chunks, remove the seeds. Then a small red onion. This is quite a big one, so we'll see how much we got. But again, if you want to add a little bit more onion or less, you could do. And then just thinly slice it. And the way I'm doing that is just making sure that I'm always on the flat surface of the onion. So I always cut, not like that, but always so it's flat, so that it's safe. And then just going to do that and see. Might have a little bit more in there. What I tend to do is take the root off, and then I sort of cut in at an angle on either side, and it gives you sort of a nicer shape to it, and then cut the other way. If you've got mandolin, it would work really well on that as well. Just watch your hands. So I'm going to put that much red onion in. Then this is 2 roasted red peppers. They're from a jar that are in brine. And again, I've just followed the same shape that I've done for the bread and for the cucumber. I've cut them into triangles. If you've got a couple of red peppers or yellow peppers knocking around in the bottom of the fridge, you can just bake them in the oven until the skins look like they're blistering off. Put them into a bowl, a Pyrex bowl, cover it with cling film, leave it for 10 minutes, and then the skins will peel off easily, and you've got your own roasted red peppers. Very easy. 30 grams of black olives that are drained. I've just sliced those up. And then to add a little bit of piquancy, I've got 2 tablespoons of capers, just the small ones. Then, of course, it wouldn't be a panzanella salad without our toast. So in that goes, that's the 200 grams of sourdough. And then the other thing we want is a lovely herb, and traditional Italian food always has basil. So we're going to follow that tradition and just rip the leaves off. I might take a few more off here, actually. I like lots of basil. And then what you want to do is sort of gather it up and try and sort of roll it up a little bit, and then just shred it. So sort of a cigar slice, as we call it, because you roll it up like a cigar, and then cut through it, and then sprinkle that in. That's going to add all the lovely freshness that we want. And then we're going to season that up. So a little bit of salt to bring the flavour out of the tomatoes, and then lots of black pepper, like so. And then you could get a couple of salad servers or the good old-fashioned wooden spoons. And then what you want to do is just mix all of that together. You want to probably leave it for about 15-20 minutes so that the juices all sort of absorb and amalgamate together, and that's when the flavour really comes out of the salad. But give it a good toss and then leave it for that time. And the bread is meant to be sort of slightly soggy and absorbed all that yummy flavour. There we go, look at that, that really is summer in a bowl there. So I'm going to just plate up one of those. So I've got a nice big plate here. So this serves 4, so I'm going to put a quarter on the plate. Look at that, how pretty is that? Now, if you didn't have, say, 400 grams of melon, you only had 300 grams or something like that, you could add some grapes in there, or some strawberries or blueberries that you might have left over. That's the thing about any of this cooking, is that you just want to have alternatives if you don't have the exact ingredient. There we go. How pretty is that? I'm going to put a few little red onions over the top for a bit of colour. Always dress your food, it just makes it more attractive for people to eat. Of course, it's really tasty, so it's going to be delicious. Bit of black pepper over that. And then I'm going to just take a few more little leaves of basil and sprinkle that over the top. And there you go, a melon panzanella salad.